When people imagine the city of the future, they often picture something impossible. Flying cars slicing through glowing towers, robots sweeping streets, humans living inside bubbles of glass and steel. But that vision might be blinding us to what's already here. Because somewhere, right now, there are cities quietly doing the work we once called impossible. They're not science fiction, they're working prototypes of tomorrow, built, lived in, and evolving before our eyes. And if you know where to look, you'll see the future has already arrived. Singapore. From above, the city resembles a motherboard with everything interconnected, nothing wasted. But this isn't just a metaphor, it's how Singapore was designed to work. However, this transformation didn't begin with smart sensors or digital dashboards, it began with necessity. In the 1960s, the island was poor, polluted, and overcrowded. It had no natural resources, no fresh water supply, and no reason to believe it could survive, let alone lead the world in innovation. But under the leadership of its founding visionaries, Singapore made an extraordinary decision: to treat its city as a living system. Every element, including housing, water, waste, energy, and transport, would be designed to work together. Decades later, that philosophy has matured into something extraordinary. The country's Smart Nation initiative links thousands of sensors, cameras, and data streams across its infrastructure. Traffic lights adjust in real time to prevent congestion. Sensors under roads detect wear and trigger maintenance automatically. When a pipe leaks, the system knows before anyone else does. In Singapore, data is the new urban DNA. But the true magic is what makes the technology possible. Singapore, that was once dependent on imported water from Malaysia, decided that vulnerability was unacceptable. So it built New Water, one of the most advanced water recycling systems in the world. Rainwater, seawater, and even wastewater are all purified into clean, drinkable water. Today, the city reuses nearly every drop. It's one of the only nations on Earth that has achieved something close to water self-sufficiency, a feat once thought impossible for a landlocked island in the tropics. Even its sewers are part of a grander plan. Waste heat is captured and reused. Biogas fuels local grids. Meanwhile, if you walk through the city center, you will notice something else. Singapore is aggressively green, not the kind of green that comes from planting trees after the fact, but green that's engineered into its DNA. Every building, by law, must replace the greenery it displaces on rooftops, terraces, or vertical walls. The Park Connector network stretches more than 300 kilometers, linking neighborhoods with cycling and walking routes under dense canopies. The city feels alive, literally, and then, of course, there are the super trees, those towering metal structures at gardens by the bay that light up the skyline every night. They're more than art. Each one captures solar energy, filters air, and supports thousands of plants. It's sustainability turned into sculpture, a vision of technology not as intrusion, but as harmony. For most of the world, green cities are still a dream, but there's another side to this perfection. One most visitors never question. Singapore's brilliance comes from discipline. The system works because it's centralized, monitored, controlled. Cameras line streets, traffic routes, and even residential zones. Every transit card swipe, every vehicle movement, every waste bin opened feeds into a national database. The trains run on time, the streets are spotless, the air is breathable. Crime is nearly non-existent. That, with enough data, enough order, and enough trust in technology, chaos can be eliminated. For urban planners around the world, it's a beacon with proof that the future can function. Still, in a world where many cities can't keep their lights on or their water clean, it's the future running quietly, efficiently, every single day. Masdar City. If Singapore is the future we built by mastering the present, then Masdar City is the future we reached far too soon. Located just outside Abu Dhabi, Masdar was once hailed as the city of tomorrow. A place that would prove sustainable urbanism could thrive in the harshest conditions on Earth. In 2006, Masdar began as an audacious promise, a city powered entirely by renewable energy, zero cars, zero waste, and zero carbon emissions. It was to be a living laboratory for innovation, a playground for the best ideas in architecture, energy, and design. Architect Norman Foster imagined narrow shaded trees that captured wind currents, buildings aligned to minimize heat, and solar panels blanketing every roof. When construction began, the global press couldn't stop talking. This was the prototype, this was the future. But standing there today, Masdar feels strangely quiet. Its streets are clean, but empty. Its futuristic pods with driverless electric shuttles designed to move people around the city sit mostly unused. Global financial crises, shifting priorities, and the sheer cost of maintaining such perfection slowed progress. The city, designed for 50,000 residents, houses only a fraction of that. And while Masdar still operates as a research hub and eco-campus, it's no longer the bustling metropolis the world imagined. But Masdar's story is one of iteration. Every experiment, every abandoned plan, taught the world something about building for the future. The city pioneered solar desalination and waste-to-energy systems that inspired similar technologies across the Middle East. Its pedestrian-first design became a model for climate-adapted urban planning in extreme environments. Even its mistakes, like overstimulating how fast people could move into an untested city, became invaluable lessons for future projects. Masdar proved that you can't simply build a city of the future, people have to want to live there. A city, no matter how smart or sustainable, is only as alive as its citizens. Today, Masdar is smaller than it was meant to be, but it's far from irrelevant. It's a hub for clean tech startups, a testbed for global sustainability ideas, and a reminder that progress doesn't always look like perfection. You could say Masdar walked so others could run. Or perhaps so others could rethink what running even means. Because the cities of the future won't be built in isolation. When we talk about future cities, we often make one mistake. We assume technology is the answer, but it's only the instrument. Masdar's balance of ambition and humility teach us that the cities of tomorrow won't just be measured by how advanced their tech is, but by how gracefully they integrate that tech into everyday life. The future won't arrive in a sudden flash of innovation. It's arriving gradually, but hidden in city policies, sustainability plans, and the hum of unseen systems that already shape our lives. The truth is, the city of the future is less a destination and more a direction. It's the quiet shift from consumption to conservation, from expansion to optimization, from building more to building smarter. However, some cities went even further and tried to perfect the formula, to remove chaos entirely, and to create a world so efficient it forgot to be human. One of them sits on reclaimed land near Seoul, South Korea. It's called Songdo, and it might be the most advanced and most misunderstood city ever built. Theoretically, Songdo should have been a success. Constructed on reclaimed land along the Icheon waterfront, the project was intended to become the most technologically advanced urban space in the world. A place where every building, every vehicle, and every home would be integrated into a seamless digital network. The concept was to use data, automation, and intelligent design to eliminate inefficiency, reduce waste, and improve quality of life. The city would be the model for how future urban centers would function in the 21st century. Songdo was conceived in the early 2000s when South Korea was positioning itself as a leader in high-speed connectivity and digital infrastructure. The government and private partners invested tens of billions of dollars into its creation. Every apartment came equipped with telepresence systems that allowed residents to video call neighbors, government offices, or even medical services at the push of a button. Traffic was managed by an AI-driven central grid. Buildings were LEED certified, energy efficient, and equipped with pneumatic waste disposal systems that eliminated the need for garbage trucks. In essence, Songdo was built as an ecosystem with an experiment in perfect synchronization between technology, environment, and lifestyle. It was meant to be a model city of a place where sustainability, data, and human life could coexist. And yet, after nearly 2 decades, Songdo remains strangely quiet. Its infrastructure works flawlessly, but its streets often feel empty. The networks hum, but the city itself feels subdued. Despite its ambition, the population has grown far slower than expected. Urban sociologists have studied this phenomenon and reached similar conclusions. Efficiency does not guarantee vitality. People seek unpredictability, spontaneity, and the social texture that emerges from organic urban growth. In Songdo, everything is designed, and therefore, nothing surprises. There are no accidental neighborhoods, no evolving marketplaces, no small-scale imperfections that give a city character. Songdo's condition illustrates a broader truth about urban development. Technology cannot replace culture. When a city is engineered to be flawless, it risks becoming static. It can measure how people move, but not why they move. It can predict consumption, but not creativity. The lesson is not that Songdo failed, but that it revealed the limits of urban automation. The future city must integrate human unpredictability rather than attempt to eliminate it. Songdo functions as a technical success and a social caution. It shows that true progress in city making requires balancing systems that can adapt to both efficiency and emotion. The next phase in our story lies in adaptive evolution, Stockholm and Helsinki. Far from the controlled urban laboratory of Songdo, 2 northern capitals have been shaping a very different model of the future through continuous improvement. Stockholm and Helsinki rarely feature in futuristic renderings. Their skylines are modest, their streets narrow, their public spaces understated. Yet by nearly every metric, including sustainability, governance, digital innovation, and quality of life, they're decades ahead of much of the world. The foundation of this success lies in governance and public trust. Both cities operate on strong social contracts between citizens and institutions. When governments launch digital initiatives, from cashless payments to open data portals, citizens participate willingly because the systems are transparent and reliable. In Stockholm, 90% of public transportation runs on renewable energy. Waste heat from data centers is redirected to power homes. The city's energy grid operates as a circular system, minimizing loss and dependency on fossil fuels. In Helsinki, every resident has access to open digital platforms that provide real-time data about transportation, air quality, and public spending. Citizens are not passive users. They're contributors to a shared digital ecosystem. The result is a city that evolves through feedback. Unlike Songdo, which was designed in one ambitious sweep, these cities grew incrementally. Their smart features are not concentrated in visible technology, but embedded in policy and infrastructure. A streetlight that dims when empty, a public building that adjusts heating automatically, a transit app that integrates buses, bikes, and ferries into one seamless payment system. Each innovation serves a clear social function and results in a future city that feels normal because it's integrated into daily life. Both Stockholm and Helsinki also illustrate how the digital city can coexist with privacy. While sensors and data analytics are common, strict data protection laws govern their use. Citizens maintain control over their information, and government systems operate under transparency frameworks that limit misuse. In this model, technology enhances autonomy rather than reducing it. People trust their systems because they understand them. That trust is what allows these cities to implement advanced technologies without resistance or fear. It is, in essence, the opposite of surveillance-driven models. When we place these examples side by side, a clear progression emerges. Singapore represents mastery of integration based on how governance and technology can function as a single organism. Masdar represents overreach based on how ambition can outpace practicality but still drive progress. Songdo represents over-optimization of excessive control in social life. And Stockholm represents evolution based on how sustainable, citizen-centered innovation can define the future. In every of these successful cases, technology recedes into the background. The cities that thrive are not those that announce themselves as futuristic, but those that integrate progress so easily that it becomes unremarkable. This is perhaps the most important shift in urban philosophy in the 21st century. The future city is no longer a physical space we build. It's a process of continual adaptation. Every time a city learns to recycle its water, share its data, or synchronize its transport, it becomes a fragment of that larger future that's distributed across the world. But this evolution brings ethical questions. Who benefits from automation? What happens when efficiency conflicts with freedom? Cities like Singapore and Songdo demonstrate that centralization can achieve incredible order, but at the potential cost of autonomy. Scandinavian models show that decentralization can create flexibility but may limit rapid implementation. The path forward will likely carry both, with global systems designed for toughness and anchored by local governance and transparency. In many ways, the city of the future has already arrived. It only lacks the drama of science fiction. It doesn't glow neon or float above clouds. It runs quietly, in water recycling systems, traffic management software, and renewable grids. We often imagine the future as something distant because we expect it to look radically different. Yet genuine innovation often hides in familiarity. A smart lamp that saves energy, a bus that knows when to wait, a database that prevents waste. These small, precise improvements are how the future unfolds. Case in point, the most advanced cities are not those that have transformed overnight, but those that continuously refine themselves. In the past, civilization advanced by building centers of power like Rome, London, New York, and Tokyo. But the city of the future is not one location. It's a network of interconnected systems and shared innovations. A solar breakthrough in Abu Dhabi influences energy policy in Helsinki. An AI algorithm in Singapore reshapes transport planning in London. Data flows, not people, will define the next urban evolution. The most futuristic city may not even be a city at all, but a connected ecosystem spanning the globe. The idea of the city of the future has always been as much about imagination as engineering. But imagination alone is no longer enough. This type of city exists wherever efficiency meets empathy, wherever design meets dignity, wherever technology enhances rather than replaces human intent. If you walk through Singapore's green boulevards, Masdar's silent plazas, Songdo's empty intersections, or Stockholm's bustling waterfronts, you're walking through different interpretations of the same idea. The city of the future does not need flying cars because it already exists in another form. Perhaps the hardest part is simply recognizing the future when we're already living it.